Outside spiker from San Vera University, number 9, Janine Marciano. Middle blocker from the Far Eastern University, number 10, Ezra Madrigal. Opposite hitter from the Ateneo de Manila University, number 11, Erica Raagas. Outside spiker from the Dominican Republic, number 14, Prisilla Rivera. Starting libero from Ateneo, number 1, Danny Ravena. And the head coach for Akari, Jorge Souza de Brito. And now the starters for United Auctioneers Incorporated Army. Middle blocker from Arellano University, number 2, Ann Esquera. Center from the National University, number 4, Ivy Perez. Opposite hitter from Central Philippine University, number 8, team captain, Jovelyn Gonzaga. Outside spiker from the University of Perpetual Health System, Delta, number 15, Royce Tubino. Outside spiker from Canada, number 19, Laura Condota. Middle blocker from the Far Eastern University, number 21, Jeanette Villarreal. The starting libero from Rizal Technological University, number 10, Angela Nunag. And the head coach for the Lady Troopers, Emilio Kung Fu Reyes. This game is held under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusements Board. It is the Akari Chargers versus the United Auctioneers Army.
Again,
this
welcome everyone
PBL.
to the heart of volleyball, the PBL Reinforced Conference. As you can see on your screens, we have the starting lineup for the Akari Chargers as well as the starting lineup for the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. Again, it's too soon to say who's gonna win. It's hard to make any fearless forecasts because these teams have a lot riding on this game, despite it being early on, as we've always repeatedly said in our pregame a while ago.
We know that both these squads, though coming from a loss, we did mention how they were able to stretch these matches against their opponents. Akari losing 4 sets to Signal. Army, on the other hand, losing 5 sets to PLDT. So, this just goes to show that, stats-wise and performance-wise, today will be a good match.
As we enter set 1, their first game happened literally a week ago, and you can credit, of course, the loss to first game jitters. But isn't there more jitters now that, both teams are trying to get that first win?
Definitely a lot of pressure for both teams. But likewise, we are at a point today when both squads have trained longer with their reinforcements, like these adjustments that they've made in their rotation. As time goes by, they get used to it more.
And with that, both teams are drawing blood, tying it up again already at 1-1 early on with a service error from the Akari Chargers. Seeing on your screens, a reinforced player for the United Auctioneers, Laura Condota, who has been giving superb numbers. But as we mentioned a while ago, again, Erica Raagas raging with her scores early on, of course, with that attack as early as set 1. The score is 2-1. Great reception there. A quick attack by Villarreal, and she scores that point. Again, for the United Auctioneers. Parang habulan na lang ngayon.
Definitely, dapat walang papayag for the other team to pull away. And what's nice to see, nakikita mo early on, there's that gamble already with the choices sa kanilang plays na ini-execute.
And both paces for their attacks are going quite fast. That was a good touch again by Rivera. But that point will be awarded, I guess, to the United Auctioneers. Rubino scoring.
There was a touch as called by our first referee.
As I was mentioning a while ago, fast-paced already. A lot happened there. We're seeing a rally again. Our longest rally so far here in set 1. Tubino trying to end it, and she does.
These familiar names starting off the match, getting in some points.
And this time around, this is what you were saying, Anne, that of course, while both teams will try to keep it close, you want to go as far as you can from your opponent to at least have that kind of, I guess, safety or confidence also to start. Oh, a lucky serve there from the United Auctioneers. Cross-court hit from the Agas. Condota setting it up for Villarreal, but that is outside. But before that, let's go to Franny Reyes for her courtside report. Franny, what do you have for us?
Vera and her influence or her impact on the Akari Chargers. So she actually tested some of my Spanish and I asked her, ¿Cuál es la mayor fortaleza y la mayor debilidad de Akari? Or what is Akari's biggest strength and weakness? And she told me Akari es muy jóvenes. They're very young. They have that spirit and energy which is a strength, but they lack some experience, which is the weakness part of it. And she's hoping that she can provide that steadying force and that experience that they lack. And she also told me that the language is not a problem. There is no language barrier. Volleyball, of course, is their common language. And she told me it's actually nice because there are some Tagalog words that sound like Spanish. Now, I also talked to Danny about this language barrier, and she told me at the end of the day, they understand the intensity and the passion that Prisilla wants, and that's infectious. And we're hoping to see that intensity and passion from the Akari Chargers today. Back to the panel.
Thanks for that, Franny. Now, we were talking about the intensity, and we saw that intensity in the blocking. They knew that, that's the usual now of Tubino, and they easily read that so twice, and they finally got it in the second try. A strong serve there from Raagas, way too strong from one of their leading scorers from the Akari Chargers. A point will be awarded to the United Auctioneers. Served by Tubino. Cobb setting it up for Agas. But again, too strong back-to-back points for the United Auctioneers.
This is one of the weaknesses that we've seen from Akari even in their first match. The tendency for this team to commit these errors, it's still there. So a bit of caution. They need to be a bit careful.
Do you think, Anne, we can credit that to their youth? I guess, as we mentioned a while ago, the Akari Chargers, this is their debut performance in the PBL Reinforced Conference, and this is a relatively young team compared to the Army Troopers.
Well, definitely we could attribute it to that, and I think that's also one of the points that Priscilla had mentioned, right? This is a very young squad. They've a lot to gain in terms of gaining experience in this conference. Hopefully, as the conference would go by, as they play each game, ito yung makikita nating improvement from them.
And we're seeing quite an improvement from both teams. We're seeing longer and longer rallies each time. That would have been a great defense from Rivera. But now, the United Auctioneers are on a 3-0 run for their scoring.
Alam mo, magandang balikan yung report ni Franny kanina. She did mention, because one of the things that would normally come to mind if you have reinforcements who speak a different language which is not English, baka may language barrier. But she did mention a good point when she interviewed Priscilla. Volleyball is our common language. And actually for both these squads, ngayon na nakikita natin, parang yung pag-gel ng kanilang reinforcements, it's not like hirap na hirap silang magkakilala sa loob ng court, or the movement is not, the movement is still fluid rather.
And you can credit that to their chemistry that, of course, while we cannot deny the language barrier, we will be taking a quick break first as we head to our first technical timeout. And we're back here in set one with the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers leading. I think it's 8-6 so far. They've been pretty consistent in maintaining a 2-point comfortable lead. I think that's the most that they can get comfortable right now in set 1. Danny Ravenna on your screens, former Ateneo Lady Eagle. United Auctioneers serving. Received by Danny. Cobb setting it up. Oh, and an attack. And this time, we're seeing more aggressive offensive from the United Auctioneers. Perez there, smiling wildly, very proud of herself. Let's look at that replay.
Definitely look at this. An advantage of a left-handed setter.
And the lead continues for the United Auctioneers as Prisilla will be serving once again. Michelle Cobb from the Akari Chargers, former De La Salle Lady Spikers. Lady Spiker, rather. Four-point lead again from the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. Danny Ravenna with the receive. Cobb setting it up for the Agas. Tubino was there. Perez setting it up for Villarreal. And finally, Akari stops the bleeding with that.
Now the challenge for Akari is to really create those points rather than wait for the errors of Army.
I think both teams quite had a number of unforced errors that really contributed to their loss. So that's one thing that we should be seeing less. Joust at the net. Perez just looking very proud of herself. You know, 1 versus 2.
Why not? She did have a successful point earlier, hitting the second ball, and this time around winning that joust.
Perez being one of the foundations, I guess, early on, setting the tone, the energy, the hype for the United Auctioneers. Cobb setting it up again to the Agas. They were expecting that, but she managed to score off the block.
There's a lot of expectation from Raagas. We did talk about her during the pre-game.
But we're going to have to see the other players from Akari Chargers also stepping it up. Ooh, a soft touch there by Gonzaga. Danny giving a free ball. Perez to Villarreal. And this time, it's inside. The previous one a bit too strong. She finally found the combination. And it worked for Villarreal.
That attack falling right at the end line works for the Army.
Serving. Strong serve, but Rivera was there. That one. Tubino tried to get that. The effort was there, but it was a bit of a quick attack. We didn't expect that.
It's nice to see on the side of Akari. You see Rivera really cheering on the rest of the team.
Strong again. The unforced errors could prove quite fatal for the Akari Chargers as the United Auctioneers are slowly but surely distancing themselves from them. And it's so great seeing Villarreal grow up. You know, she used to be one of the younger players in the field, but now she's proving to be a steady presence for the Army Lady Troopers. Again, Tubino, medyo binabantayan na siya in her spot there.
And you know, that is the last thing that you want, for the plays to be very predictable. At kaya dyan natin sinasabi na kailangan yung distribution and the support also, no, from the other attackers or the other players in the squad. That's really necessary.
I think that's why switch of players, they finally put Bunag in. They said, okay, we'll give Tubino a break, try to find, new spots in the court for her to attack. But for now, Bunag will be playing for Tubino. Perez giving it to Bunag, but in the same spot, blocked by Madrigal and Cobb. And again, the blocking of the Akari Chargers, while they do have unforced errors, their blocking is staying consistent here in set 1.
And that is very important. We've seen how strong the offense of the Army can be. So defense right at the net, malaking tulong yan, no, para sa kanilang back row defense. And kita natin, dalawang attempts, both did not get through.
I think it's good because you mentioned a while ago, Anna, ang daming pwedeng umatake like Laura Condota. But it's good, of course, that Akari will be keeping the United Auctioneers on their toes with their blocking. 3-point lead for the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. Jovelyn Gonzaga serving, captain for the team. Prisilla Rivera put down the line, if I saw it correctly.
It is. What is nice to see is that itong si Cobb at saka si Rivera, no, they had a very good connection. Rivera wanting lower sets rather than higher sets, and Cobb able to deliver that.
That's the chemistry we were talking about. Despite, of course, the language barrier, the chemistry remains ahead or above all. Raagas just with that cross-court attack. Bunag this time around with a softer one. Up to Raagas again, and this time straight to Gonzaga, and Gonzaga wasn't able to receive that, sadly.
Did talk about Raagas in the pregame. She did score 16 points in their last match against Signal. She is the second highest scorer for Akari.
So in your opinion, Anne, who else from the Akari Chargers needs to step up offense-wise? Because I know in the blocking, of course, they've been contributing. But how about for the offense?
I think anyone who is in the front line should be able to deliver.
That was a good save that we're seeing right now. And a quick attack from Madrigal, while everyone, of course, was finding their places. She kept her calm, and quick attack, a point for the Akari Chargers. Let's look at it again.
I think sinasabi natin, anyone in the front line should actually contribute, and that was the perfect opportunity for Madrigal.
I feel like they were hearing you, Anne. She was like, Madrigal, I'll listen to that. I'll take it. Perez setting up for Bunag, who's still to find her first point here after being subbed from Tubino. As we head, of course, to our second timeout from the United Auctioneers Army. Let's listen in.
What we need is good pass. Every time we don't have a good pass, there's no good attack. Okay? May pumapalo naman sa atin, mag-coverage naman tayo. Ang hina ng dating ng bola ng kabila. Ang problema, hindi na kayo nag-uusap sa loob. Huwag kayo lagi maghintay na instruction dito. Kayo nasa loob, dapat kayo nag-uusap doon. Ha? Yun ang una natin gawin na pagbalik, ha?
I find it, I guess, ironic that for the Akari, they're doing really well with defense. But Coach Kung Fu naman is saying, of course, for the United Auctioneers, kulang yung depensa. What makes this battle a well-balanced one?
But of course, no, they can't do offense kung hindi rin sila makakadepensa. And they started off quite strong on that note as Bunag scores her first point for Army.
And finally, she made a way because, again, there were those two blockers from the Akari Chargers. Like Tubino, she was also trying to find a way through that. So finally she did. And we're at our tie. Again, Jo Bunag, her home time, Nueva Ecija. Good serve. Cobb setting it up. Oh, and yun na nga yung communication that Coach Kung Fu was talking about his team. Hopefully they work through that as we head to our second technical timeout. We're back still here in set 1 of the Akari Chargers versus the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. And live on the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig City, enjoying a well-balanced game. We're seeing on the screen the moms, of course, of Jaja Maraguinot and Joanna Maraguinot. Everyone, of course, enjoying really such a well-balanced team. But we'll see which team will be quicker to adapt to what their coaches have been saying and be able to get their first win.
You know, we did expect that this game will be a very good match. Napag-usapan natin yan, how both teams were able to stretch, no, yung kanilang unang laban. And so far, they're not disappointing us. Kita natin yung
They are not.
labanan, no? Oh!
Again, Prisilla Rivera, Raging Rapids, Raagas and Rivera. Yun na yung tandem na. That's what I'm gonna call them. Together, they are the Raging Rapids here in the BVL Reinforced Conference. And she just provides that boost of energy for her team. Jo Maraguinot with that service. Oh, a miscommunication there between Perez and, well, we're not sure now whether it's Malaluan. Esguerra will be coming in for Malaluan. Jo Maraguinot serving 3 times in a row. This time around, it's the Akari Chargers leading with 18-15. Perez to Condota. The blocks are there, but there's no follow-up. Oh, off the... Oh, that's a score from the Akari Chargers, rather. Sorry. But a timeout will be called by the United Auctioneers.
Magsisigaw na naman tayo dito. Yun ba yung kailangan natin gawin dito para mabuhay lang kayo? Eh kayo naman naglalaro dyan. May mga atake, di coverage tayo. Normal mablock kasi may blocker. Ang problema, yung recover natin, wala. Lahat kayo, ganyan katahimik kayo sa loob. Hindi pwedeng ako magsisigaw dito para lang kayo gumalaw dyan. Daming nanonood sa inyo. Galawan nyo.
We can sense Coach Kung Fu's frustration, you know, as well. Because he's right. He did mention it already in the first time out, but it seems like there's still no change happening on the side of the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers.
And of course, at this stage, with the experience that they have, the expectation of Coach Kung Fu, no, mataas yan. How you respond, how you adjust. But Condota,
Bumawi!
putting an end to that. They need to score more to at least tie it with Akari.
And you need a confidence boost, of course, after, you know, the lead has switched the Akari Chargers. Your coach is quite frustrated, so you need a boost of a score. Oh, but Rivera! Wow! A strong attack.
That's coming from the back row from Rivera. You know, she's asking for it. No? That again from the back row scores that point and going through in between the two blockers.
Michelle Cobb serving. Again, this is the coverage that Coach Kufu was talking about a while ago. Condota again, this time a soft touch. Let's see if there'll be a follow-up. Danny pulls through. Perez to Villarreal. Perez attacking. Rivera was there. Ragas rescuing that and Cobb giving away a free ball. They go to Condota. Cobb setting it up to Rivera. And the point will be awarded to the United Auctioneers that kept the Akari Chargers on their feet in that rally.
And ito yung sinasabi rin ni Coach Kung Fu, no? That's why defense is very important. You have to make sure that you keep the ball alive. I think for now, for Akari, what has been working is that their blocking has been consistent so far here in the first set.
Oh, miscommunication right there, I guess, in the setting. Condota, but Marciano was there. Along with Kasugod. And now in the front row, Kasugod, Raagas, and Rivera. Let's see how the front row of the Akari Chargers will take charge. Oh, Buna, good reception there. Condota cross-court attack, but too strong.
This is probably not how the Army expected, the latter part of the first set to go. They had a very strong start, very aggressive, quite consistent, and very good chemistry, no, is what we've been seeing. But now, we're seeing that Akari is really challenging them.
Ooh, and Villarreal tried to spike, but Prisilla was there. Villarreal will give it to Ibiang, will give it to Condota. Danny to Cobb, to again Rivera with a soft touch. And again, yung mga butas. This is what's sort of creating the gaps, literally, for the United Auctioneers.
And in this case, it was that drop just right behind the blockers, but nobody picked it up. Ito yung kita mo kanina, umaling na si Coach Kung Fu. What is happening here is definitely not a good sight for him.
23-17. 2 more points, and let's see if Akari will be able to grab this first set. Gonzaga, good rescue there after a block by the Akari Chargers. Kasugod, Cobb setting it up for Agas with a soft touch. Back to Gonzaga, and she gets that to go. Stops the drought for the United Auctioneers.
Much needed point from Gonzaga. They've been having a difficult time getting through the blockers, and she had to make use of the shorter blocker to get that point.
Oh, Kasugod, but here we go, the block from Villarreal. This time around, okay, we're seeing quite a spark of energy from the United Auctioneers. But will it be enough for them to catch up to the Akari Chargers, as Condota will be serving 19, serving 23.
No room for errors here for the Army.
A good save there from Condota's left shoulder. Danny to Cobb, to Raagas, once again working it through the block of Buna.
Again, it is the coverage that has been missing on the side of the Army.
As we find ourselves with Kasugod serving for the set point for the Akari Chargers of Game 1 of our single round robin preliminaries. Good service there. Ooh, a joust at the net.
Overreaching called on Akari.
United Auctioneers staying alive.
They need to play flawlessly if they do want to at least first step, not to tie it first with Akari.
Villarreal serving. Cobb to Rivera. Ooh. A free ball there was given by the United Auctioneers. They give it to Rivera. And this time she's very good in finding the open spots here in the court for the United Auctioneers, as Akari will be winning the first set. And we'll be back with set 2, and we will see if the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers will be able to bounce back. There you have it in your screen, set 1, 25-20 with the Akari Chargers taking set 1 of Game 1 here in our doubleheader for this weekend. Premier Volleyball League, the heart of volleyball. And we're back again. Welcome to everyone watching us here at the Premier Volleyball League Reinforced Conference between the Akari Chargers and the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. Set 1 will be awarded to the Akari Chargers. But I guess a quick rundown, how you found that performance. As early on, the Akari were quite, it was the United Auctioneers that were leading early on.
It was a strong start definitely for the Army team. Akari they were still finding their footing, no, at the start of the first set. We could have been them still getting used to the court with their opponent, but I think what really matters the most is how they performed in the latter part. As we
Usted necesita alguien como usted, que brinde confianza y esté comprometido con el desarrollo. Usted necesita alguien que conozca su sector. Somos especialistas en instituciones financieras, sector salud y educacional, y tenemos las soluciones financieras que se adaptan a su empresa. Innovemos, crezcamos, avancemos juntos. Banca Corporativa y Empresarial PHD.
we take a look at the statistics for set number 1. Akari winning that, and largely because they did do better when it comes to offense, scoring 14 attack points as opposed to only 11 of the Army. But we did mention in that set how their blocking was impeccable, and it's very obvious dito sa stats. They scored 4 block points as opposed to only 1 para dito sa Army. At ang hindi siguro nakatulong, halos pantay lang sila ng errors.
Exactly,
They scored it's 7 and 8 for both teams. So talagang dito makikita natin yung kalamangan ng Akari. And if they do that consistently here in the second set, then definitely I think they have a lot of advantage.
Now, will the Akari Chargers be able to take control of set 2 as well, or will the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers be able to turn the tides against the Raging Rapids of Prisilla Rivera and Erica Raagas?
It's a very fitting way to describe these two players. But with the experience of the Army, I think we do expect a lot also from them, in terms of how they will respond, as we saw that error, unfortunately, on their side. It's how they recover, it's how they respond. Yun nga yung sinabi ni Coach Kung Fu kanina. And yeah, let's await what they will show us here in the second set.
And I'm sure the fans, of course, of the United Auctioneers are also looking for that because, Coach Kung Fu is also confident about the set of players that he has with the years of experience they have. But right now, you're seeing the Akari Chargers, just taking control of the momentum and going with the flow.
Alam mo, itong Akari, I think one of the obvious things is that maraming bata, and ito, gutom tong mga to. You see the eagerness to really get a win today. The energy is on their side. Bago ko nabate with that error, but definitely the energy on their side. We'll see if yung momentum nila, winning in the first set is something that they could maintain here in the second.
Well, as they say, all good things have both their pros and cons. So with energy, of course, there comes the rashness, I guess the impulsiveness of that energy. But now we're finding ourselves tied because of the errors of the Akari Chargers. So the United Auctioneers is making the most out of that by tying set 2 to 2-2.
Now, we did mention in the first set, after we showed the stats, how Akari had an advantage in terms of blocking and offense. And ideally, those are the two things that the Army would focus on, how they can penetrate the blockers and also getting a good first ball so they can have better plays this time around. That has been a problem as we saw in that pass.
And after that long rally that Akari won, let's go first to Franny Reyes for her report. Franny?
Lack of communication and coverage is what hurt the United Auctioneers in that last set. And I could actually see a bit of frustration on Ivy Perez's face every time they let a ball slip into the gaps And now, of course, the United Auctioneers came off a 5-set loss in their last game. So I actually asked Ivy about it. And she told me that it was nice to see na kaya nilang lumaban. But there's definitely a lot more that they can do. She also told me that in today's game versus Akari, their strength is their veteran experience. It's not just about power. It's about knowing how to play the game, where to put the ball, and what each player will do to help each other. So let's see if the United Auctioneers can turn this game around. Back to the panel.
We shall see indeed. And as you mentioned a while ago, and they really have to find ways. So if the United Auctioneers, that's their favorite spot. I think it's quite established. So the adjustment that's going on is just how to make it work with the blocks that Akari Chargers will continue to keep giving them. Perez there with the serve. Cobb setting it up for Rivera, cross court. Again, too strong.
They have not been able to pick up the offense of Rivera. She's been going to that cross-court area.
Heavy is the burden that lies on the shoulders of Nunag for the United Auctioneers, as she is the heart of their team's defense. Gonzaga, again, as we were saying, really making it through the blocks. We're seeing better reception from the United Auctioneers. A soft touch by Gonzaga. Raagas with a quick touch. But Nunag, again, making it work for her team. Raagas pushing it to the back. Nunag to Gonzaga, free ball. Slowing the pace quite a bit. They go to Rivera. Perez was there, no follow-up. Nunag was there. Bunag, rather. And here, we're finally seeing the communication and the reception that Coach Kung Fu was telling his ladies a while ago in the timeout. Raagas, but Gonzaga and Villarreal with the block, and the United Auctioneers will prevail. I think for the longest rally that we've seen here in set 1 and set 2.
Definitely the longest. You see the players really catching their breath.
I was catching my breath trying to cover the plays. They fought for every reception, every dig of that.
But definitely the goal is to keep the ball alive. Clearly that was the message of Coach Kung Fu earlier. But you know, what has been a challenge on the side of the United Auctioneers is that they haven't had really good passes so far. Perez would have to run after the ball, and kita natin, no, they're unable to activate their middle attackers because of that.
And Tubino will enter the court as Raagas will be serving. 2-point lead for the Akari Chargers. A strong serve there by Raagas, but Nunag was there to the rescue. Tubino with the attack, but again, the blocking of the Akari Chargers powering through. Nunag keeping the ball alive. Oh, Tubino, and
We see a bit of complaint here on the side of the United Auctioneers, as they're calling that I think back row attack of Marciano as stepping.
But A for effort for Nunag. I mean, I was just saying how, you know, she must feel a lot of responsibility and burden for everything. And here she is throwing her body across the court.
Sabihin ng mga coaches, as it should be.
As it should be. Another strong service by Raagas. A tip there by Villarreal. Prisilla this time. Oh, she apologizes for that. She knows how strong that was.
We heard it.
We heard it. Tubino felt it. As we go into our first technical timeout. direct attack, as you can see here. Cobb setting it up to Prisilla Rivera. And an accurate attack to Tobino. We're just shaking our heads. I wondered. She's also saying sorry. She knows how powerful her attack was.
And you know, it's different also. If you see it live and you hear it, no, medyo matatakot ka, mapapalayo ka. Ang lakas nung tunog when you know, the ball gets into contact with her hands.
Tobino with a soft touch. But Rivera was there. Perez will be setting it up. Rivera. And there was no second touch. You can see also the next phase of frustration that we're featuring is Ibiang Perez. You know, we can sense, I guess, the tiredness, of course, as Gonzalez enters for her.
Should be also a good thing, no, for them. Gonzalez having a different view from the outside now coming in. Let's see what change she can bring in. Also good for Perez to get a view from the outside and see what adjustments are necessary.
And here the attack points. Akari again is still leading. But Tobino getting that score. 4-point lead of the Akari Chargers as Villarreal will be setting for the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. You can see in the stats. 3 points, 2 attacks, and 1 block. The 1 block that we saw during the set 1, the sole block of the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers, courtesy of Villarreal. Oh, that was a close one.
Dinaan sa gulat.
Whether sila yung nagulat or ginulat yung Akari Chargers, that is up for debate na lang.
But I think, you know, the task is clear here for the United Auctioneers. You don't want Akari to pull away.
As they are doing right now, a 5-point lead for the Akari Chargers.
And so far, all things going right on the side of Akari. These errors, these net violation errors, haunting the Army right now.
That's why Coach Kungfu will be calling a timeout to try to find again another quick solution for this.
Dandanin muna natin. Una, easy ball. Hindi natin ma-set up na maayos. Yun ang wala sa atin. Hindi natin ma-set up ng maayos yung atake natin. Kasi lahat, ulitin natin ha, yung communication sa loob. Masyadong putol. Pag-usapan natin, hindi naman tayo ganyan mag-ensayo eh. Pagabawin nyo. Enjoy.
And you can really see Coach Kungfu is saying the same things. But I guess that time out, aside from reminding the ladies of what really needs to be done, is to just give them a breather after everything. Prisilla Rivera, 10 points. All of those points, attacks. She's doing so well also in the receiving end for her team. A block by Balse and Gonzaga. A soft touch by Balse Pabayo. Gonzalez was there. Nunag will be setting it up for Gonzaga. A down the line attack. And Gonzaga will score that point for her team.
You know, she is very comfortable in that right side of the court. Just some clarifications here. Oh, and the point, Denise, is given to Akari.
Prisilla Rivera serving. Strong serve, Condota with the receive. Gonzalez to Balse. Cobb to Rivera. I guess another violation. Here's what we were talking about, the unforced errors. Again, that both teams are committing, causing for just an exchange of points right now. Jovelyn Gonzaga. Oh, and a down the line statement attack there from Marciano, who is slowly but surely also creating more points here in set 2.
That was an excellent target for Marciano.
Ezra Madrigal serving.
There's so much energy there at the service line. You know? The control, and you see Rivera talking to her younger teammates.
You know, well, as they say, it's always better to be more of energy than lacking of it. Cobb setting up to the Agas. Nunag was there. Gonzalez to Condota. Off the hands of Cobb, who will be giving it to Marciano. And this time again to Rivera. Nunag.
So much power in that attack. They really, well, they tried. Kung makikita mo, may tao, no? The defense was there, but too strong from Rivera.
Sorry, that was, I mentioned Nunag, that was Tin Agno pala. My apologies. Cobb serving. Condota. Gonzaga will try to make it work with that set. Raagas, ooh, Condota blocking that. Raagas versus Laura Condota.
That was a well-read block for Condota. Single block.
Jing Balse, kind of a shaky receive there from Rivera. The Akari Chargers. To Raagas, cross court. Will that be inside? I guess that will too strong outside. The point will be awarded to the United Auctioneers. Jingbalse Pabayo will be serving 9-14. Ooh, oh, careful there. Cobb will be giving a free ball. Let's see Gonzalez to Villarreal, cross court. Cobb to outside. Ito na nga yung energy.
Oo, eh. It was a good target. Again, pag ganun nagkakagulo, you target the end line and just too much on that one.
That's why it will be the Akari Chargers this time around who will be calling a timeout. So let's listen in.
Okay? Please, remember, hey, Lou, you. You're in position 4. It's okay there. Okay? First position. Touch the ball, transition, it's okay. Good spike, high, long. Don't need to take out, okay? Get ready to quick. Okay? Transition, side out.
For all the energy that the players of Akari Chargers has, their coach, their head coach, is screaming with silent confidence and calmness.
Maybe that's just exactly what they need, right? The irony, no? Kung gaano kadaming energy. But maybe that's exactly what they need. Let's see.
Gonzalez giving it to Laura. Off the hands of Marciano. She will be scoring that. Even I felt calm. You know, there's so much excitement in today's game. But listening to their head coach, I was like, yes.
Zen.
Zen. Let's calm down. It's set 2, guys. Are you enjoying? Let us know. Tweet and your socials. With the hashtag PVL2022. The heart of volleyball. Join us in our conversations online, guys.
Ooh, that was a tough one. Tough for Raagas. The ball was already on its way to the antenna.
She tried to make it work, but it was also quite an awkward position to attack. On your screens, Jaja Maraginot subbing for Michelle Cobb. This is the first time that Jaja will be seeing action for today's game. Jingbalse Pabayo, again, one of the veteran players from the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. Jaja to Raagas. Gonzalez to Laura.
was on its way out. Again, down the line, always a tough angle to go for.
But this time around, I guess we're seeing both teams finding their composure, seeing a bit of less unforced errors. It's just really too strong for both teams. Janine Marciano on your screens, 4 points, 3 attacks, 1 ace. Just a 3-point lead this time around for the Akari Chargers. Wow, Villarreal with that attack, and the Akari Chargers cannot find a way to get that ball across.
Akari still has this 2-point lead, but if you're going up against a veteran squad, there's no room to slow down or to relax.
Sarah Jane Gonzalez with that serve. Jaja Turaagas. It was off the hands of Laura. As we head into our second technical timeout with Akari still leading. Welcome back to Set 2 live here at the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig City. The game brought to you by Bingo Plus, the first live streaming bingo here in the Philippines. So as much as there is excitement in bingo, we also find so much excitement in today's game between the Akari Chargers and the United Auctioneers, Army Lady Troopers. But the Akari Chargers and are just really staying consistent in leading in both technical timeouts. This might, not mean so much, but of course, to be able to get these things consistently will work. Though, well, this time around it was the United Auctioneers that scored that point off a timeout, hoping to turn the tide and move the momentum to their court.
And that was actually Gonzaga delivering that point for them. Not surprised. Rivera is in the front line, and we know that she is such a high percentage attacker for Akari.
I think you can see on her left hand tape, I love you pass. I'm not sure. Maybe we can ask Franny to confirm about the story and those, because it's so interesting how our players bring some of their, as we mentioned a while ago, off-court reinforcements to bring them strength. But here we go, the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers showing off their strength, cutting the lead of the Akari Chargers to just 2, as Villarreal will be serving for her squad. Jeanette has been making a loud noise during set 1. She's been a bit quiet here in set 2, so we'll see, of course, of how she will be contributing in her attacks or maybe in her blocks here in set 2 to help her squad.
Rivera, on the other hand, has not been quiet at all.
Not at all. She doesn't know how to be quiet in her attacks. That is why Akari got her as a reinforcement. She matches the youthful energy of her teammates.
Well, this should be a good thing for the United Auctioneers as she moves to the service line.
Prisilla Rivera serving 18-15. Tubino cross court, but Danny was there. Marciano. Gonzalez to Gonzaga. Nunag will be giving it to Tubino. But Rivera, wow! Again!
Even then, Denise, depensa na nakapuntos pa.
I mean, she's also very much surprised, even though we aren't surprised by her performance.
You know, I did just mention, this should be a good thing for the United Auctioneers. Nasa likod na si Rivera. We do know she gets a lot of sets also from the back row. Pero this time around, sinabi lang niya sa atin na pati depensa, di ba? I can score a point.
To be perfectly candid, sometimes I don't even know if she's in the front row or in the back row. It's kind of hard to differentiate at this point because she's doing both. She's still giving her all. Again, Rivera keeping the ball alive. Nunag to Gonzalez, giving it to Tobino. Danny again, Cobb to Raagas, cross-court attack. And this time around, we're gonna see the same kind of reinforcement that Priscilla's giving in the same way from Laura, also from the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. But let's listen into the timeout. Let's see if Coach Kungfu will be saying new things. Hopefully.
Attack nila, andun naman eh. Out of system, ang problema sa atin, wala tayong depensa sa ilalim. Hindi natin masalat. Litin natin, tsagayin natin kasi kahit anong pinapalo nyo na check ball, ang talsik ng bola, diretso sa tao. Wala tayong magagawa doon. Importante kung paano tayo ulit ka-counter. Pagkatapos ng isang dalawa, kayong tumigil kasi hindi mo naman patay ang bola. Dire-diretso lang. Play at the present lang tayo.
Grabbing a line from Coach Kung Fu's timeout. Isang galaw, but don't let it end there. I guess that's something that the Army Lady Troopers really does need to keep in mind because they start so well. They go on this whole momentum, but in some way it fades and it goes back. The momentum just transfers back to the Akari Chargers. But here again, always fresh of a timeout. Gonzaga and the United Auctioneers scoring.
That was a good response as we see a bit of change here.
And now Ivy Perez is back. As you mentioned a while ago, she was able to assess the situation, and we shall see in the rest of the game on how she will be able to adapt, of course. But wow, Marciano again attacking, even with the block, I think, off the blocks of the United Auctioneers. Perez will set it up to Tubino, and the score. She's finally found a way to make it work with the blockers of the Akari Chargers. And look at that swag.
Making use of the shorter blocker, Nunag, and letting it pass through Cobb. It's a smart move from this veteran player.
And you can hear from the sidelines, Coach Kongko just saying, ready ka lang, pero yun na, because you never know where the Akari Chargers will be attacking, so it's best to not have any open spots in the court. And Michelle Cobb, 22, serving 17. I'm sure the fans were also happy to finally see Michelle Cobb after there were news that she wasn't, of course, going to play her last playing year in the UAAP. But volleyball fans are still excited as they see her here in the PBL, the heart of volleyball. Bautista will be coming in for Balse.
18-22, now serving Nene Bautista.
Nene Bautista with the serve, 18-22. Cobb to Marciano. Condota will try to get the point from the cross-court attack, and she does.
That seemed to be a perfect set for her. It's the right height coming from Gonzaga.
19. Cobb will be sending it to Marciano. Perez meanwhile to Villarreal versus just the Agas. Cobb will be giving a free ball. Perez again to Laura, soft touch! And now we're seeing the variations of United Auctioneers attacks. Not as predictable as they were, of course, in set 1.
Exactly what they need. Actually giving Akari a dose of their own medicine. We've seen that earlier, the variety of attacks.
And now, since they found the medicine, Akari Chargers, needs to find their own as well.
Marciano punt back into the court, communicated with Cobb. So
it's now just a 2-point lead, the Akari Chargers. The Agas blocked by Villarreal and Perez. This time Marciano. Okay,
That was it.
I know now what coach said. Attack. And attack Marciano did.
That was a great angle for Marciano. And that came through in between the blockers.
And that point will be leading Akari to 23, serving 20. Villarreal with a quick attack of her own. But Danny's there to give a free ball. Nunag to Perez. Kasugat was there. Rivera. We're seeing another long rally. Rora, will she end it? No, Akari keeping it alive. Laura again working off the block of Raagas. And this time around, as you mentioned kanina, Ana, Laura Condota, the reinforcement of the United Auctioneers, is quite quiet compared to Prisilla Rivera, but here she is making her presence silently known with her attacks and of course with her defenses.
And she's been consistent here in the second set.
Perez with that strong serve. Rivera with an even stronger attack. She will not be forgotten.
Earlier, the question, who do we think will have, will score the most? And itong si Rivera just making a statement again today's game.
Literally, with that attack and with the shout. Her own, she is here.
Number 16.
As we find Akari on set point.
Akari now at set point, serving for the set, Rivera.
Perez to Villarreal, single block there. Gonzaga, but Marciano was on guard. Laura to Perez to Villarreal. Cobb to the rescue. Free ball. Perez giving it to Gonzaga. And again, scoring it off the block. This time around, Gonzaga working the blocks of the Akari Chargers.
This is learning from the first set where Akari scored more in terms of block points. Yung veteran moves, no? So this is their way of responding to that.
Now, can the flawless actions of the United Auctioneers continue for them to catch up to the set point of the Akari Chargers? Well, let's find out now. Cobb to Rivera, cross court. Tinagno was there. Tubino with a soft touch. Great receive, great dig by Cobb. Laura to Perez. Oh, and an attack there by Gonzaga. And coupled with a soft touch by Tobino. Madrigal. Madrigal will end set 2. Akari Chargers charging through the first and second set. There you have it. We're back with the Premier Volleyball League, the heart of volleyball, a reinforced conference 2022. The Akari Chargers versus the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. Again, the Akari Chargers charging through set 1 and set 2. As we look at this time around the set 2 highlights, Laura Condota, I guess, making a statement this time around for set 2. But again, Prisilla Rivera cannot be stopped.
Akari, as we saw, they've been very consistent. They carried on the momentum that they had in the first set, something that carried on in the second set. And, you know, we can see that the defense, the blocking, their offense was still there. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito kanina, no, how they can maintain, how they can sustain the same energy as we take a look at the stats for set number 2. Still the same story when it comes to offense. Akari scoring more, 18 as opposed to only 12 of the Army. But siguro ang nagbago dito, no, we have seen 4 block points from Akari in set number 1. Yun ang nawala ngayon. And it's because Army, on the other hand, nahanapan nila ng paraan. They were able to penetrate the blocks of Akari. The only thing that siguro if on the side of Akari, while they won that first set, they did give away more points on errors para sa Army. They had 9 errors, 9 giveaway points. Army had 6 in that last set. Pero kung babalikan siguro ng Army itong second set kung saan sila nagkulang, point production talaga, Denise. They need to find ways to score more points, get in those offensive kills on their side.
And as Coach Kongfu said, we really need to see the communication on the court, less frantic, I guess, saving of the ball. And even if we're in set 3, the question is still the same this time around. Can the Akari Chargers close this with a 3-setter? Because the same story goes with their previous game. They stayed quite close in the first 2 sets, but they faltered in the latter. This time around, of course, with the veteran experience of the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers, will their experience suddenly show up in set 3 and this time around, you know, gather all their bearings and finally find to make it work and maybe get set 3?
Where they did stretch their game against PLDT in that last match that they had.
And this is the first time, I guess, in the 3 sets that the United Auctioneers will be taking first blood, because for the first 2 sets, it was the Akari Chargers who drew first blood for both set 1 and set 2. So I don't know if this will be telling of how the game will go, but we shall see.
Not quite, I guess, Denise.
I shouldn't say it too early. I'm scared of jinxing it now.
Well, it's still very early here in the 3rd set, but again, I think here, no, taking charge, getting a comfortable lead for the United Auctioneers is something that would definitely work to their advantage.
Rivera. You know, her name, just saying her name is already a statement enough of what she can do, the attacks that she does. As we look at this replay again of her prowess and her strength and just her constantness, really.
And it's not all about power for her. We do talk about how powerful she is as an attacker. Pero dito ang nakikita na talaga natin, no, yung experience, the way she reads yung depensa ng kanilang kalaban.
Exactly. I think that's what makes her gel so well with the team. She's able to provide the strength when need be and also the defense when need be. But this time around, for set 3, the United Auctioneers is trying to keep it close early on. We're seeing quite a similar start in set 1. Which team will be able to break away first? Kasugod. Sumusugod with that attack.
Perez unable to pick that up.
I mean, with her height, there's just no stopping also. Perez did try, of course, but a quick attack from Kasugod. She will be serving. 3-2. Kasugod here with 2 points. Both points are all on the offense. Service ace by Kasugod. Back-to-back points for the lady in pink. As we head to Fanny Reyes for this set's report. Fanny?
For the game, I talked to team captain Mitch Cobb, and you saw her in the last set. She's actually keeping the ball alive in those last plays, but she gave me a little bit of insight into what was in her head as the captain after their previous loss, and she told me that she actually liked the discoveries and the realizations that they had as a team. The good and the bad situations, their character came through, and now they know how to react to certain situations in game, and she thinks that playing more games, having more exposure will definitely help the team. Against Army, she told me it's all about sustaining rhythm and lessening their errors. They have to be solid towards the end, and I think that's what they intend to do to end today's match. Back to the panel.
As Franny mentioned a while ago, those things that she mentioned, Mitch Cobb is no stranger to that after being in La Salle and under Coach Ramil. So she's been a steady presence for the Akari Chargers, really. Also taking charge both in the offense and defense.
Franny also pointed out the need for them, Cubs point on them needing to reduce the number of errors that they commit. We mentioned that in the stats also of set number 2.
And Erica Raagas, a rookie, but really just showing no signs of her rookiness at all in today's game. Prisilla, this time around, with a softer touch than her usual. A joust at the net, but the point will be awarded to the United Auctioneers.
Rivera also quick to apologize on that last error.
Again, it's in those one-on-one instances that you also, of course, see the veteran experience of a Jovelyn Gonzaga. Laura with the receive. Biang Perez, that was from a back set. Villarreal made the most of it. Scoring now. And the Akari Chargers is just in a 1-point lead now. Gonzaga serving. Currently has 6 points and 6 attacks. Prisilla. She made the network. I actually thought that wasn't going to get in, but she does.
And it was also lucky that it still fell within the court. know, it was also lucky that it still fell within the court.
Strong service there by Rivera. Perez to Condota, cross court. And Landicho sadly, was not able to receive that. And I felt like Laura needed that point. She had a couple of errors early on.
And in the earlier set, when she started to score, it also had a good effect on the rest of the team. No? Yung momentum, parang nagkaroon ng energy bigla.
Oh, and here the energy is back with Jeanette Villarreal. She was a bit quiet in set 2, but finally here in set 3, she is making noise once again. Quite fearless always in between two blockers.
Credit the good passing to make that play work for Villarreal.
Cobb was at to Marciano. Perez was there waiting for that. We go to the Agas. The set was a bit too low, I guess. It wasn't able to go across the court. And for the first time, we go to our first technical timeout with the United Auctioneers leading this time around. We're back again. What an exciting matchup. Until now, we still don't know who's gonna win. Like Bingo Plus, the first live streaming bingo in the Philippines. It's a game of luck, but more than that also when it comes to this matchup, it's a game of consistency. Who will play more consistent? But that was quite the first for the United Auctioneers. They led the first technical timeout with the lead 8-7. Cobb setting up for Marciano. A common theme also in this game, both squads are really finding a way through the blocks. They're not afraid of it anymore. They want to find a way to make it work and to get that score.
As it should be, and Marciano actually already scoring more than her output in their first match against Signal. Her output was 4. Today definitely scored more than that.
Ezra Madrigal will be giving away that service error going to the United Auctioneers, as it's going to be Jeanette Villarreal who will be serving for the United Auctioneers Army. She's currently tied with Ezra Madrigal a while ago. They're both at 6 points. Reception by Marciano. She will also lead the attack with a cross-court attack. She asked for it. She wanted to get that reception and she wanted to get that set for that cross-court hit.
Marciano, of course, known for her high leaping ability. Look at that. Great elevation, great target as well.
Whatever it is that coach said to her is working magic. She is delivering quite consistently and consecutively after the timeout.
Meanwhile, on the side of the United Auctioneers, what they are missing at this point is getting in that good first ball.
Good serve there by Michelle Cobb. Joust at the front. Another joust. Oh, but this time around, there's no follow-up. And again, this is what we're talking about. There's the first ball, But wala nang pangalawa. Kaya again, we're gonna go on a timeout for the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers. Let's hear what Coach Kung Fu has to say.
Pagbalik, palitan mo na to. Dalawang tapon agad ang ginawa eh. Ano tayo, bawi lang ulit tayo habang nakadikit tayo. Pinababayaan kasi natin yung tamang galaw. At tinatayuan lang natin yung yung mga bawat, diba, naka-receive. Atake, nakatayo din. So may, tama niyo yung galaw. Yun lang ang kailangan nyo doon. Tama yung galaw.
Tama ng galaw. Of course, you're seeing here, Sir Ricky Palua, the heads of our PBL, enjoying the game. This is just but the first of our 2 games for this weekend. Michelle Cobb serving. The lead is back with the Akari Chargers, 11-9. Perez to Laura. Prisilla will be sending up to Marciano, making it work with that double block. But Perez to Laura. Cobb to Raagas. Another cross court. Oh, and a quick attack by Perez. Again, she has been one of the consistent scorers in set 1. And this time around, the United Auctioneers will be needing also a lot of her help to be able to get set 3, hopefully, for the Army Lady Troopers.
That's right. But, you know, we have to credit the Gonzaga also for her spectacular defense. Those were 2 balls saved, no? From her defense.
You can see a while ago, Gonzaga rather was holding her right, I guess, shoulder. I think she can still feel the pain from Priscilla's attack a while ago. I would too. I mean, that attack. Speaking of that attack, Raagas with an impressive attack off of 2 blockers, Nunat and Gonzaga, both of her seniors in the sport, but she is unfazed.
Coach Kung Fu earlier, no, hearing his words, he's asking his team to be in the game. Na hindi pwedeng nakatayo. We'll see the adjustment again because right now, Akari again managed to get this lead from them.
Agas putting it to the back, but Perez was there. Nuna will be setting it up for Gonzaga. Oh, and a touch there by Prisilla, looking so happy with that attack. The aggressiveness that the Akari Chargers is showing right now is what Coach Bongo has been saying is lacking with the United Auctioneers. Where's the aggressiveness to keep the ball alive?
And that's what you definitely see and what's evident with Akari. Hindi nila binibitawan yung bola. And you see them just really following the ball, trying to find a way na maibalik sa kabila, just like Gonzaga in that hit. Giving it her all, mapa-depensa, mapa-opensa.
I'm saying it this time around, Akari Chargers need to switch up their blocks now. Because the tides, the tables have turned. The United Auctioneers, Army Lady Troopers, nababasa na ngayon nila yung block and they're working, on it as well. But it's the open spots that still remains to be a problem for the United Auctioneers, that the Akari Chargers are really capitalizing and squeezing every point.
Ito yung sinasabi ni Coach Kung Fu, hindi pwedeng nakatayo lang. But Kasugod gives this opportunity for the Auctioneers.
I think if I remember correctly, this is her second service error. And even if they're leading, you can't give away those points because the United Auctioneers is still staying close. It's just 2 points. Madali lang yung bawiin.
Oh, that drop has been working for Akari.
Again, it's the unpredictability of Prisilla Rivera that to be her strength in today's game that makes the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers really have a hard time in predicting what's next. Erika Raagas with 9 points. Villarreal. Marciano was there. Laura to Perez to Laura again! And the point courtesy of the reinforcement of the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers, Laura Condota. 13, serving 15. Jovelyn Gonzaga on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what a combination play there. But Rivera, sometimes, she's doing it consistently, but we still don't know. So for the second technical timeout, it's Akari who will be taking charge. And we're back here in set 3. We're back here in set 3 again on your screens. Prisilla Rivera, reinforcement player of the Akari Chargers, serving. Oh, there seems to be a pattern. The United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers always seem to work well. Off a timeout, feeling refreshed, I guess, and re-energized.
But also Laura starting to show us some variety as well with her returns.
Something that's needed, because when it comes to variety, Rivera is also showing the same in her repertoire. Bautista giving that to Rivera. Okay, the blocking of the United Auctioneers, working double time here. Perez to Villarreal with a soft touch. Vargas was there, giving it to Marciano, but again, Marciano, wow. This lady again, with a double block of Perez and Villarreal, scoring that point.
Earlier we were talking about how important yung support for Akari, and they're showing just that.
As we talk about again the question, which player will score the most between Akari and Army? A question asked by Coach Babes Castillo, #PBL asks, well, for at Victor 3D third, the top scorer between Akari and Army will be none other than Prisilla Rivera. Well, I guess we can really agree with the kind of energy that she's been showing on both sides of defense and offense. That wasn't really surprising at all. I guess even the fans were expecting that.
Well, she is a 3-time Olympian and a 2-time gold medalist. So definitely credentials would speak for itself.
And for Nick XZR19, well, this is all from the Akari Chargers. We have Prisilla Rivera, Erika Raagas, and their setter, Michelle Cobb. And last, ganda talaga ng connection ni Rob at Cobb at Raagas. #AnimOBF, Akari Chargers, #PBL 2022. And ito rin, as we were mentioning a while ago, and from @Polontoy, ganda ng blocking ng Akari. They just really need to minimize their errors and attack more. I mean, this is what our analyst Anne has been saying a while ago, that when it comes to defense, Akari Chargers are really making the most of it. But this time around, the United Auctioneers with that score, keeping it close, not allowing the Akari Chargers to go far away. 16-18, 2 points, Perez.
for this set. Itong si Coach Kung Fu, no, marami rin siyang hindi nagustuhan na tawag. And some things also not working to their advantage. But let's see if they can get a point.
I think what Coach Kung Fu wants, is really for them to hear them talking in the court. Louder than he is, because he is on the sidelines, but he is talking louder than the players themselves. Cobb setting it up to Marciano. Another cross court. Marciano. I think our viewers and our fans, guys, don't forget Janine Marciano, because she is making a case for herself to be one of the top scorers for this afternoon's game.
Exactly what we have mentioned earlier, yung support from the rest of the team. You cannot just rely on your reinforcement. And here for Akari, Raagas, Marciano, the rest of the squad playing their part.
I'm so sorry, Ann, but Coach Jorge, what did you tell Janine? What did you tell that lady?
Lalapitan mo ba siya mamaya? Tatanungin mo.
I can't. My curiosity will get the better of me. I need to know, because she's played so well after that. But that is a point for the United Auctioneers, Army Lady Troopers. As again, the substitution between Gonzalez and Perez this time around. Let's see if Perez will get back to the game. Danny. Cobb to Rivera. That feels like a dunk. I'm gonna say it's a dunk. I know it's volleyball, but wow.
She does make it look very simple. And quite frankly, if the set goes to her, it would be tough to determine ano bang balik na to. Drop, palo.
And that's why I think it's also hard for the United Auctioneers to figure out, I guess, their places, because you don't know, again, where Priscilla's gonna go. Do we stay in the front? Do we stay in the back? Where are we going? Cobb to Rivera. This time around down the line. And Anne, you did say that, of course, it's hard to make down the lines work. But, well, she is an Olympian. Priscilla did make it work as we go to a timeout again by the Army Lady Troopers.
May konting palag. Wala tayong palag dun sa dulo. Drop ball, hindi natin madepensa. Hanggang ngayon, hindi tayo nakaka-adjust. Hindi pa pumapabor sa atin yung tawag, di ba? Hindi naman tayo humingi ng pabor eh. Pero yung tamang tawag lang sana ang kailangan natin. Kaya lang, nasisira ang momentum natin. Pero kaya, deal with it. So, kailangan natin bumalik. Natawag na naitawag, anong gagawin natin?
Okay. Isang pasa lang
Ang double eh.
And there you go. Coach Kung Fu, he's really asking the United Auctioneers to put up a fight against the Akari Chargers, because it looks like, the Akari Chargers are just driving the United Auctioneers to a corner where they can't move. And no coach wants to see that, because they've practiced for this, they've trained for this.
And of course, high expectations din siguro, no, from Coach Kung Fu, knowing that his roster are a set of veterans. And yun nga, yung diskarte, yung experience, it's definitely something that they should use to their advantage.
We're seeing snippets, of course, of the veteran experience of Coach Kung Fu's roster. But again, what Anna's been saying a while ago, what's needed is consistency. As consistent as Madrigal with that quick attack. That seems to be quite a favorite of hers as we look at that replay. Laika Ebon coming in for Michelle Cobb. And they lost track of the other player who went in. I think that's their libero, Mary Landicho. And Jaja Maraginot is on the court for the Akari Chargers. Perez to Gonzaga. Oh, cross-court attack. And she saw that it really was quite empty there. Everyone was in the front. Nakita ni Gonzaga yung butas. And she zoomed in on that with that attack. serving 22. The Akari Chargers still leading here in set 3. A free ball given by Tin Agno. Jaja to Rivera. Cross court.
Doesn't matter where she is.
No, it doesn't. She was shaking her head.
She heard me. But you know, this performance of Akari is I guess, a good way, ano, today is a good learning experience also. A test of character. Kung natalo ka nung una, paano ka babawi? And if they do close out this game here in the third set, that is a good statement.
Rivera to Marciano. Block again by Perez and Villarreal. Perez will set it up for Villarreal. An attack, but Rivera was there. A long rally that we're seeing. And of course, Bautista. This is what Coach Kongfu was saying. The veteran players need to step up, you know, when it comes to be able to close these long rallies. You know, you should see that from the experienced players.
At ito yung laban. Ano, that was a clean point from Bautista targeting that corner. Walang depensa on the side of Akari.
Rivera setting it up for Marciano. Gonzaga is there. Perez to Laura. Off the block!
Ito yung kapit ang inaasahan for Army. They need that and to score more points.
Not like there on the corner. Powerful there. We have 3 guys. They have to take care on the quick and even that ball you see to put there, put strong there. Okay? Put strong on the line. It's okay. Let's go. Receive it okay. 2 points.
Mas malakas pa yung boses ng mga players of Akari Chargers than Coach Roy.
Staying true to his image of para daw consistent.
You can see in the stories actually of the Lady Chargers that they like making fun of their coach, of course. Jaja setting it up to Rivera. Center. A precise attack leading them to match point. And imagine after a week, their first loss, is this it? Will Akari Chargers get their first win here in our PVL Reinforced Conference? Kasugod coming in for Baroga. Kakapit pa ba ang ating United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers?
You know, we've seen it happen before. Yung kayang kumapit, yung kayang humabol. But it will take a lot. No room for errors at all.
As we're still having some substitutions. Baroga is back. Kasugod will go back on the bench. You can feel the nervousness. I'm the one nervous. Like, who are we gonna see? Of course, the veteran experience of the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers, that they will be able to catch up to the match point, maybe lead to a deuce, a 4th set. But will the Akari Chargers just keep charging on?
Now, they need just 1 point here. We did mention itong United Auctioneers has to start from a good pass.
Madrigal serving. Ooh, the unforced errors. You know, again, she must be nervous. You know, it's the match point. You don't want to mess up. But, you know, with that unforced error, the United Auctioneers Army Lady Troopers will stay alive for just a little while. And let's see if they can sustain this.
Both teams looking very focused.
Danny, good receive there. Rashano. Oh! Sorry, it was Ebon rather. Lumipad si Ebon. She soared to get that first win for the Akari Chargers here in our PVL 2022 Reinforced Conference. And when we come back, we're gonna give, of course, let's give a rundown on what happened in the 3 sets. The consistency, you know, of Akari Chargers. Of course, we still stayed hopeful for the United Auctioneers in trying to keep the ball alive and to keep the game alive. So when we come back, we're gonna be announcing who's the best player of the game, but congratulations for now are in order for our Akari Chargers. 3-0.